Let's be real. We've all been there, working hard, putting out amazing content, but sometimes forgetting that the legal aspects matter just as much. Today, we're going to explore 3 real-life scenarios where copyright knowledge would have made a difference. Watch as we rewind these situations and learn how to safeguard your creative rights so you avoid the same pitfalls.
Yes! Final version done. Okay, time to send this over and get paid. Oh, it's up. Wait, what? Website? Social media? Product? They use it everywhere? And they did not even check with me?
So, what went wrong?
Alright, standard terms should be fine. I'll sign and send this back.
Under Singapore's copyright law, creators are the default owners of copyright in their creative works. But did you know that this default position can be varied by agreement? For instance, if a client engaging your creative services states in the contract that they would be the copyright owner and you sign off on it, you would be giving up copyright to the client. That's inadvertently what happened to our designer here. What could he have done to retain control over use of the works?
Eh? This clause says the client owns all the copyright? I should negotiate this to keep some control over my work. Let me add in this clause.
Exactly. Ideally, you should have your own standard terms and conditions for use with your clients, which would address the issues of copyright ownership and use of the works. But if you rely on the client's contract, you should review it carefully and negotiate to retain your desired control over use of the works.
Alright, I'll suggest these changes before signing so I don't get caught off guard later.
Now you know. Always check the contract. Make sure it sets out in writing who owns the copyright in the works, what rights you retain, and how both parties may use the works.
Okay, let's have this and this, and send. All done. Time for lunch. Yes, my photos are posted. Wait, where's my handler? Seriously? After all the hard work, gave them the rights, and I don't even get credited!
This scenario happens more often than you think. Let's rewind.
Contract looks fine. Payment term looks good. Right, let's do this!
Here's the thing. The client didn't infringe copyright in the photos because parties had agreed that the client would own the copyright. But did you know that a moral right exists for creators to be credited when their works are used publicly? This moral right is independent of copyright ownership. In this case, by failing to identify the photographer as the creator, the client infringed the photographer's right to be so identified. What could the photographer have done to ensure proper crediting?
Hi, yes. Yeah, I think it all looks good, but I'd like to add in a clause about crediting me, my name, and my social handle whenever my works is posted. Yes, that would be great. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks.
Smart move. While moral rights are provided by law and can be enforced even without a contract, putting them in the contract makes your expectations clear to your client. You should specify how you want to be credited and remind your clients of their obligations.
Now people will know who took these photos.
Now you know. Always ensure you are properly credited. Your work deserves proper acknowledgement, even on social media platforms, which can include tagging your name or handle in every relevant post.
A copyright infringement notice? But I performed this live before and it was fine.
Confused? Let's break it down.
Alright, got my public performance license from the venue. Should be good to go.
However, this is not quite right. The musician is performing copyrighted music. While she may have a license to perform at a venue, did you know that a separate license is needed for online performances? The relevant permission would need to cover different elements of the music, such as the melody, lyrics, and sound recording. What should the musician have done to ensure proper clearance?
Before I forget, I need to obtain permission for both my live and online performances. Let me contact the relevant CMOs.
That's right. You should obtain permission from the relevant CMOs for each type of performance, live at a physical venue and online. For example, you could approach Compass for permission in relation to a song's melody and lyrics, and MRSS in relation to its sound recording.
Nice. Now I can perform with a peace of mind.
Now you know. Always obtain the relevant permission to perform before your live and online performances. You may check with your local CMOs on how to obtain the relevant licenses. So, what are the takeaways here? As a creative freelancer, understanding copyright is key. You need to ensure that your contracts clearly address copyright ownership and use of your works, that you're properly credited for your works, and that you obtain the necessary licenses for performing others' works, whether at live venues or online. Knowing your rights and responsibilities will help safeguard your creative works and set you up for success. Now you don't have to say, "I wish I knew earlier," because now you know. Avoid these pitfalls. Take charge of your creative rights and stay on top of your copyright game.